Yo, what's good, party people? Hello and welcome. And for Chris's sake, my name is Chris Anthony Lopez, and we're back for another Loki discussion right here on WAT Reel Entertainment. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Really do appreciate it. We will be joined shortly by my little guestie, but before we do that, once again, go ahead and subscribe to WAT Reel Entertainment. If you're watching this on the channel, subscribe to WAT Reel Entertainment. We have videos essentially like 4 out of the 7 days a week. How many days are in a week? 7? Yeah. So go ahead and subscribe. We're doing some Wrestle Reel tomorrow. We have Wrestle Reel dropping tomorrow. We will, unfortunately, it's a little bit of a pre-tape ski. We have some things going on tomorrow. So Wrestle Reel will be pre-taped tomorrow. Saber Reels on Saturdays. Typically, there will be no Saber Reels, I believe, this Saturday. A Real Talk spoiler discussion for Black Widow on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And of course, Spin from the Reel, the Shmona reaction show, every single Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, as the sun's in my eye over here in Oklahoma. Hope y'all having a good one. If you're listening to this on the For Chris's Sake feed, thank you. Go ahead and subscribe, follow the feed, share this with your buddies if they're watching Loki, because we are live talking about some Loki and all its spoilery goodness. We're spoiling the hell out of this show. So if you haven't seen it, I know it's only been out for like 24 hours. So if you haven't seen it, I mean, come back later after you've watched it and then jump in on the discussion. But if you've seen the title of this, we're talking Journey into Mystery. Journey into Mystery on this. Okay. I think it's safe to say that Loki as a whole is really damn good. I remember the first review that we had on For Chris's Sake. I had my boy Connor Breedlove on, co-host of Really Scared, and he said to me, "Hey, man, this might be my favorite Marvel thing ever." I said, "Connor, get out of here. Yeah, that's a little too soon, brother, to start talking about the best Marvel thing ever." And as the series progresses, now we're on episode 5 of 6 entirely, presumably, he may be onto something. And I may have to start agreeing with him. Loki is really damn good. And Journey into Mystery, I know this episode's has been pretty divisive on social media. I think this episode has solidified that this show is really darn good. It may be top 10 things Marvel's ever done. At least Marvel Studios has ever done. Is that outlandish? I don't think that's outlandish at all to even consider. Because look at the other shows that we've gotten. Is this the best show that we've gotten so far this year? Compared to WandaVision and to Falcon Winter Soldier. I was in the group chat earlier on today. That was the discourse they were having. And guess what was at the top? Loki. For almost every single person. A lot of folks have Falcon Winter Soldier. A lot of folks have WandaVision for different reasons. It's great stuff overall. But Loki's killing it. And Journey into Mystery was, to me, kind of like an amalgamation of some of my favorite things about this series. The character-driven nature of the show. The breaking down of who these characters are in the meantime. The action set pieces. There's some great action bits in this episode. The story and how it's being told. We have no idea what the hell is going on. Well, at least for us comic book dweebs, if we really dive deep, we have an idea of what's going on. But for the most part, we don't know. And I think Marvel, they do such a great job of trolling even the peeps that think they know what they're talking about. Granted, I see you, Lunch Break Hot Take, in the chat, and I'll get to that man in a minute. But for the most part, we have no idea what the hell is going on. I've seen no one correctly predict up until this moment of the show. And I think that's the case for a lot of the Marvel properties. I know Black Widow just came out today. There are people at the movie theater as I speak watching Black Widow, and I am so envious of them. I get to see it tomorrow. But it's hard to predict this Marvel stuff. They do such a good job at it. And Journey into Mystery, again, threw us for a loop. And now we're over here talking about the finale already because there's only 6 episodes. God bless America. Tom Hiddleston's absolutely bringing it. I believe her name's Sophia DiMartino. I think she is the one that plays Sylvie. She is killing it. We got to see finally Richard E. Grant be the character who I didn't think he'd be. In a way, it was the worst kept secret that he was going to be a Loki. But what Loki? That was the question. And we got that answer in this episode. And it's weird how they explained him. But again, we'll get there when we get there. But the show's damn weird. And yes, lunch break hot take to finally address your question. Do we all agree Kang the Conqueror will be in the final episode? That's what it's looking like, right? It's looking like Kang. And for all my comic book dweebs out there, we all know who Kang the Conqueror is, that time-traveling son of a gun. But will we hear him speak? Will we see him? Will we have his name uttered? Are we going to hear Jonathan Majors? Because we know he's a part of the MCU now as that character. Who the hell knows? Lord knows I don't. I have no idea what the hell is going on anymore. But the one thing we can agree on is that I don't think it's my favorite episode, but I think this episode is pretty damn good. I know folks aren't digging it because they may have gotten too antsy with the Easter eggs, which I can agree on to an extent. There were a ton of Easter eggs to pick apart from this thing, whether certain people being frogs or we have heads all over the place. I believe we got vehicles that Marvel villains may have ridden or driven at some point in the past in Marvel comics, you know? And it was a lot of ooh, ah. But at the same time, it advanced the plot. It advanced what was going on. It's not like we took a break. With the show that's only 6 episodes, you can't afford to take a break. And this episode didn't feel like we were just killing time until the finale. We definitely got enough to drive us to that final point. It almost felt like, if we cut a lot of the little stuff in this episode, we could have ended the show here and just kept going. You know what I mean? I got that vibe where we could have just, I don't know 6. I don't know anyone that's seen episode 6, but it's almost as if we can, squish the last couple episodes together and get that amount, that final set piece of however Loki and Sylvie and Mobius and Renslayer Suge.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Coming in here hot.
Sorry about that. It's been one of those days, man. One of those days. How's everybody doing today? Hope you had a great day.
You scared the hell out of me.
I'm sorry. Like, are you used to talking to yourself?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? You're used to talking to yourself. So
we're good. What did you think of episode 5, Journey into Mystery, dude?
Great movie, man. Great movie, great show, great episode. It really had some cool Easter eggs, especially if you're a comic book nerd. You saw some cool old school Easter eggs. What's up, LBTHT? You saw some cool old school Easter eggs, especially if you're a hardcore Marvel fan, and which was very interesting to see. And then look, you got some answers, but you didn't get all the answers. And so now we're gonna go this next episode. It's gonna be very interesting to see. And right now, I saw your comment from Lunch Break Hot Take. I actually don't think we're gonna see King.
Ooh, you're one of the few people with that idea. You're one of the few.
I think King is a baddie, but we're not gonna see him. We're actually only going to hear is about him. So we're not going to see him.
Oh.
I think the bad guy that we're actually going to see, we'll talk about when we get toward the end of the episode, because we saw him already.
You think we've seen this person already?
Yes.
Interesting.
Because there's a line that was dropped in the show. Like I said, there's a lot of good throwaway lines here. And you sit there and you go, what does that mean? And I think this was one of those lines that meant something very important. And I think a lot of people are catching on to it because it just makes the most sense. And and so it's gonna be very interesting to see where they go. But I think we've seen the big bad of this series, not of like the next phase of Marvel, but of the
Right.
series.
Interesting. That's wow. I'm curious to see who that is. But Astro in the chat, I see you, brother. What's going on, dude? About to see Black Widow. I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous. Black Widow already on Disney Plus for all the premiere access folks. I'm not paying $30 to see it. I'm gonna see it tomorrow. So yeah, Black Widow. I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon. Our review, Matt Thomas actually got to see it in advance, and he got to review it on the channel. So if you are interested in hearing his thoughts, by all means, go ahead and check out the review on the channel. But, yo, okay. This episode, to me, right, just to break it down from the top, there's, like you said, this was Easter egg, like, bonanza, almost to a fault. There was almost too many Easter eggs to really, there was too many Easter eggs that kind of took away from what's going on screen. I know there was like the Kang on the Avengers Tower to begin the episode, right? And that was something I noticed because I I played it back. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, I had to go back and I watched the first couple seconds again. I'm like, oh, I guess that's Kang. I get it. I see what's going on. And that also makes me question if Kang's the real bad guy, if they're going to explicitly, I shouldn't say explicitly say it, but they're going to actually try and tease us with that already. Astro in the chat, what if Howard the Duck is the overseer of the TVA? That'd be funny as hell. That would, so many people would hate that. So many folks would hate that, and it's not even funny. I think it's hilarious. Would I like it? Hell no. Hell no. It'd be like a big slap in the face, It's almost, I equate it to the Scrappy-Doo reveal in the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But we get the Easter eggs off the bat. But the episode also begins with how the end credit scene from episode 4 began. You know what I mean? It was the 3 Lokis, or the 4 Lokis, I should say. Classic Loki, Boastful Loki, Kid Loki, and Alligator Loki, our king. Alligator Loki stealing the hearts of men and women all over the planet since 2021. But we see this Loki immediately, or our Loki immediately be like, yo, what the hell is going on? Where am I? I thought I was dead. I thought I was dying. Nope, he's in the void, which is later explained in the episode as like the very, very like end of time where all these reset timelines, or at least what we think are being reset timelines, are going to be fed into this big ass monster cloud thing that is not Galactus. Let's also put that out there now. Astro in the chat, throwback reference, Scooby-Doo 2 had some crazy villains, bro. Scooby-Doo 2, I could talk about Scooby-Doo all damn day. For the sake of this, I'm not going to. But, I love Scooby-Doo 2. That movie's a lot of fun. And Alligator Loki and Rocket Raccoon need to team up. Alligator Loki stole the hearts of many. That's why I put my man as the thumbnail. Because I couldn't stop. I shouldn't have done this, but the second I saw him, I went, aw. It's like, it's the damn alligator. And the alligator actually like did stuff. Like, it's not like they was there, it's not like it was there just to be there. It was actually a part of the plot. And they actually got them out of that kerfuffle later in the episode with all the other Lokis of various kinds. And we'll get to that because that also confused me and also warmed my heart at the same time. Yes, the alligator biting off someone's hand, awfully heartwarming. But at the beginning of the episode, we got to introduce ourselves to these newer Lokis to this universe. The classic Loki, which, I mean, your typical comic book get-up Loki that we've seen for years and years and years, played by Richard E. Grant. I expected my man Richard E. Grant to be King Loki. I've gone on record on this podcast saying exactly that, and I didn't get it. Am I disappointed? No, not really. But I'm kind of bummed that my man only came for one episode, at least supposedly. He came for one episode. I don't know. Maybe that's where our Loki becomes later, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to get into timey-wimey stuff. I'm not going to confuse myself for Chris's sake. Not going to happen. but then the boastful Loki explains how he got to how he messed up the timeline. He's out here talking about how he's killing Iron Man and Captain America, getting all the Infinity Stones. That's awesome. That's raw. Okay, that's pretty badass if I say so myself. Kid Loki straight up saying his next event was killing Thor. Caught me off guard like a mofo. You're fine, dude. No worries.
These damn kids. Don't ever have them.
Yeah, responsibility, man.
Right? Who wants it? So you were saying Kid Loki? Yeah, that was a huge.
Oh, yes, Suge. That was definitely a huge revelation that our Kid Loki that we're seeing on screen killed Thor in his timeline, and that was his next event. Astro in the chat, I don't know about you, but I think it was a missed opportunity that Alligator Loki didn't speak. I also agree with that, Astro. You were saying, Suge?
Yeah, my bad. I kicked myself out. When he said that he had he killed Thor, that was pretty crazy. I'm sure there was some. I guess Ronin ship was an Easter egg, but I didn't see it.
Yeah, I noticed it. It was later in the episode before
later in the episode.
Sylvie and Loki went to the Goliath monster thing. Like it was in a shot. They didn't make a note to focus on it, obviously, but it was cool. I did one of the DiCaprio memes, like, oh, that's a thing. I remember that thing from that one thing. So it was cool to see. But again, this episode is Easter eggs galore. And the more I think about it and the more I've gotten to sit on this episode, I think it kind of took away from everything else.
Really? You think it took away?
I think so. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still really enjoyed the episode, but there was a lot of Easter eggs.
Yeah, there was. The Thanos helicopter, which is a shout out to, and people were confused by that. They didn't understand what that was. That's a shout out to the original comic book Thanos, who drove around in a freaking helicopter, which doesn't make any sense.
None.
Remember when these comic books were being made? They weren't on drugs right at the time, so they were like, "Oh, how do we make it a comic book? Oh, we'll have them drive around in a helicopter. That makes sense."
I mean, and we're talking about the same folks who created a character that, he's a teenager that got bit by a spider and he can climb on walls. Like it's the same thing, right? And having aliens flying helicopters isn't the weirdest thing Marvel's ever done. It's not the weirdest thing that comic books have ever done. But that seemed a real, like, it hit us over the head with it, where it was literally a helicopter that was like faded yellow and it said Thanos on the side. Like that was awfully obvious. And they hit us over the head with it, like, oh, that's cool. That's awesome. You know what I mean? We saw Frog Thor in this when they were going back to the bunker, which is awfully morbid.
And you saw, well, it's from the Pet Avengers, but then you also saw Mjolnir, a full-on Mjolnir right there, which was kind of crazy. A one that's put together. So that was kind of cool, which now really does sit with my theory about how Jane Foster's from another timeline. That she actually, in Love and Thunder, that she's going to be just from another timeline.
That still melts my brain because I'm mad I didn't think of that. Because I've been so anti-multiverse, or let me rephrase. I have been so anti-multiverse being the get out of jail free card for any character being introduced. I don't want everybody to be like, oh, hey, X-Men from the multiverse. So bang, right here. Fantastic Four, bang, multiverse. Jane Foster's Thor, oh, bang, multiverse. I don't want this universe to become that. But at the same time, with how important the multiverse has become since WandaVision started that conversation back in January, I just have to swallow my pride, and I'll deal with it later.
I mean, yeah. I mean, usually you like to swallow, Chris, but
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, I think that's how they introduce her. But it was kind of dope. And then they start talking. Now this is where the throwaway line comes into play. So they're in the bunker talking, and they're in the one Thanos is like, yeah, I got all the Infinity Stones and yada yada, all these things.
They're talking about their Nexus events and how they were put in this position.
Yeah. and then you hear old Loki talk about what he did, and I gotta be honest with you, bro. I gotta be honest with you. He says, "I made a what is it? What do you call it? The exact word?
I don't know the exact phrase. It was like a projection or a clone or
Yeah.
something.
That was so good. It fooled the Mad Titan. I don't believe that's old Loki. I think that was a whatever he called it. I don't know the exact word he used, but a projection.
Word. Okay. Like that was. Are you saying like that was our Loki that did that? And
No,
he
no,
just.
no, 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 no. That's that Richard E. Grant. Think about it this way. You get
Mhm.
Richard E. Grant to come on the show. You're not going to just use it for one episode.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
So what I'm assuming is going to happen is when they go to the castle, it's going to be that version of Loki, Richard E. Grant. He was just projecting that version of him with them.
Holy shit, Suge. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. I liked where you were going, and we'll get to who's at that thing, that castle thing that ended the episode. But so you're telling me that there is like it's like Oz, right? Where he's behind the curtain at that castle and he made a projection of himself that was able to conjure up Asgard from nothing.
Because one of the another throw line we'll get to later is where Loki even says we are stronger than we realize.
And that's this, and that Loki, Richard E. Grant, was the same one that made a projection of himself. So you're saying the projection made a projection of himself? Because when all the Lokis are fighting at the bunker? That'd be crazy as hell.
Yeah, he's that strong.
Oh my god.
And it makes sense because they could go with the story two different ways. They can go that this older version of Loki needs a younger body, and he needs a powerful Loki, which is why he wants Tom Hiddleston's Loki, or he's being controlled because remember that the thing, the cloud, I forgot what the name of it you said.
Eliath.
He's eating things.
Right.
And so they're saying like he's a guard dog. So does that mean that he's eating things and it's giving power to whoever is in the castle?
It could be because when we saw the ship that just popped out of nowhere, and shout out to Colin Morris on the Flick and Reels review of this yesterday. He said what exactly that ship was, and I'm blanking on it off the top of my head. But you notice it just took the life out of folks. You know, it wasn't like disintegrating people. It just took the life out of them. They're becoming like skull and bone. So that would make sense. Like, and that's why a Loki would be so, what's the word? Be able to live that long because the life force and whoever's behind there is obviously using the Eliath as protection of some kind, or in your case, as life support in a way. And now that Sylvie and Loki, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but now that they broke away and they're going to find their way inside, I wonder, shit. I think they use their one where, and by one, I mean, they use their, Tom Hiddleston's going to play a different version of Loki again. Because we saw that in this episode. That Loki for President button and the one all in the suit, we all thought that was our Loki. At no point did I see anybody in any discourse on any social media or whatever the hell say that's a different Loki. It's not our Loki, the one we're watching on TV. So when my man is leaving because he gets tired of those folks that we met, Boastful, Classic, and the kid and the alligator, he's leaving like, I hate them. Those guys are the worst. And then he opens the hatch. Holy shit, it's Tom Hiddleston again with a bunch of other Lokis. And I mean, it turns out to be inconsequential because their greed and their inner Loki all comes out and they all fight each other. But
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see because they were like, he was like, I'm sorry I betrayed you. And then the other guy's like, yeah, I betrayed you. And then they're like, no, we betrayed you. And it's like, can none of us trust each other?
Right. And our Loki's just standing there like, oh my God, I'm the worst. Like this is awful to see. And we see the only folks that escape are classic Kid, the alligator, and our Loki. Thank God
And
the
you
alligator.
don't you think that's weird though? That our Loki, TV Loki, and Kid Loki and the alligator Loki are the only ones that survive. And I think alligator Loki is the only one that gets away is because he's simply because he's with Kid Loki. But don't you think that's kind of interesting that those are the Lokis that get away? Ones that we probably might see later, like Kid Loki, might be in Young Avengers if we ever get that.
A lot of folks have been saying that no one's dead until no one's ever dead in Marvel. And obviously that character wasn't even involved in the final big action sequence with the Goliath. So a lot of folks are like, oh, yo, he's not dead. You can see him pop back up. I'm not going to hold my breath and say he'll come back, because I don't know how I feel about multiple Lokis being a part of the universe going forward, especially with how I think the show's going to end. But of course, I don't want to jump too far ahead with the ending. But all the stuff in the Void, minus the Easter eggs galore, I thought it was really damn good. Even when we find Mobius and Sylvie.
Mm-hmm.
I loved... Okay, I don't know how you feel about them, about Sylvie and Loki being romantically linked to one another, and how they're flirting.
I don't think so.
I
don't think it's romantic. I think it's more brother sister.
Really?
Yeah, the way he tells her when she asks him, "Are you going to betray me at the end?" And he's like, "No, I'm not." It's more like brother and sister love. It's not romantic love to me.
I view it as romantic, which
no, I felt it was more brother and sister love. That he looks at her and because look how he talks about her. He's like, she's one of us and she's amazing and she's not like, she's not like us. Like he's talking as if that's his sister and how amazing she is.
I don't know about that one.
I'm telling you, because it would, to me, if it was a romantic love, at that point when they're sitting there talking, they would have kissed.
But they acknowledged it straight up. They're like, oh, it'd be weird. Because they acknowledge the fact that the TVA alluded to them being, all lovey-dovey, and they're like all weird about it. They're all like, oh, I should say weird. They were all like, oh yeah, that'd be weird for us to do that. Oh, they said that was our next event. Oh no, it's another lie from the TVA. They're trying to gauge each other and trying to talk it out.
Yeah, but what if it's brother and sister
feel? It could be. I don't see it that way.
I thought that's what it was.
Either way, they give a lot of a shit about one another. To the point where back at the TVA, something we haven't discussed, that the TVA, now everything is getting blown out of proportion. Renslayer and Sylvie in the beginning of the episode have their little exchanges where Sylvie's like, yo, Renslayer, what the hell? Like, show me what's up. What the hell is going on? And Renslayer's like, I don't know. I'm trying to find out too. And all of us are like, liar, bullshit. That's such bullshit.
Liar.
Lies. Like, you damn dirty liar. And even Renslayer's the worst damn liar. And I don't know. I like to think that maybe she's playing like she knows, but she really doesn't. She's also trying to figure everything out like we are. Because even when she was talking to Miss Minutes, where she was like, hey, Miss Minutes, give me the information on the beginning of time. They're looking for the beginning of time stuff. And then she brings up some make-believe ship that can get them to the Void, right? And she's like, yeah, Miss Minutes, give me that ship file to go to the Void. It was way too obvious that she was lying. And it almost made me uncomfortable. Right. Like, come on, you're bullshitting us right now. And Sylvie halfway bought it, which I wasn't the biggest fan of.
Yeah, she did. I heard you talking about it last night. She did almost really buy that, like it was nothing.
Right. And I like to think it's justified because we just saw TV Loki die die. She thinks he's dead until Renslayer's like, no, he went to a place called the Void where all things go to die, or all things go to get forgotten about. Even the TVA don't go there, because why would we?
Yeah.
But I'd like to think she's so caught up in the moment that she's gonna buy anything to get TV Loki back. But it seemed kind of sus. But the Renslayer stuff intrigues the hell out of me. Back to the TVA. Like, I'm
for sure.
I'm fascinated by that.
No, for sure. It's very interesting. But there's a lot of interesting stuff that decisions made in this. I heard what you said where you're like, well, why would she just automatically be like, all right, cool, yeah, I'll work with you? Like, I think it was just simply because she really had no choice.
It's out of desperation.
Yeah.
Right.
And we could tell, and right then and there, you could tell she cares about Loki because she prunes herself. And she says, I thought he's the key to whatever we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very, very interesting with this show and where it's going. So like I said, I'm super excited to see where it goes, obviously.
Right.
But,
and even when we get to the Void, we see Sylvie, and of course Mobius is there. Mobius didn't go. A lot of folks are thinking, oh, we're going to see other Mobiuses. We didn't. We just saw our guy, and he was just relegated to getting Sylvie to the other Loki, and that's it, and questioning everything, and then he left to go back to the TVA to go apparently burn the place down. But I'm so curious how they treat him in episode 6, because I'm assuming that episode 6 is a series finale, like how the other shows were. Not a season finale where we'll get more later. I'm thinking series. Until I get a confirmation on season 2, that's how I'm thinking. And I want to see how Mobius, because Mobius, he's going by himself back to the TVA. He has no backup. B-15's locked up, as we saw in the episode. My man's going in there guns blazing. Right. So how's he going to approach that? He's going to try to convince folks that they're all variants? We saw how that panned out. It didn't really work. So I'm like, yo, Mobius, what the hell are you doing? Going by your lonesome? At least take one of the other Lokis. Damn, take the alligator.
He's like thug life.
Yo, yeah, he's about to freaking go into the TVA, and Renslayer wants more info out of B-15, as we see in the episode. She's like, yo, what'd she show you? What'd she show you? Yo, Brodney, I see you, Brodney. Mobius don't need backup. Burn it down. He's gonna burn the whole thing.
And he has a temp pad, so he can get around and do what he's got to do. He could probably sneak in and out.
Are we gonna see badass easier. Mobius?
We're
gonna see him all badass.
We might see him go back
to the Void.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, maybe, because now that they got that damn thing under the enchantment, maybe it's safe to go back for a moment. But we'll see. Who the hell knows? But my further suspicions about Renslayer also come to a head when she's talking to B-15, because she's like, "Yo, what she want? What does she want? Why does she want to take down the TVA so bad?" And she's like, "Yo, she like needs to know what the hell's going on here, and she's gonna do whatever she has to do that." And B-15 had this great line where she's like, "Yo, it's like she needs it. You just want it." Or I'm paraphrasing, but you know what I mean.
Oh, I want it, Chris. I want it.
Man. Yo, and this show, I mentioned at the top where, remember when we did the first episode and Connor said this is his favorite the favorite Marvel thing that we've seen so far for him, right?
Yeah.
He's like, it's the best thing that Marvel's done after one episode. And I'm like, man, you crazy, man. You crazy. The best thing after one episode? Hell nah. Now I'm like, okay, maybe he wasn't too far off. I'm really digging this show. I don't think this show's missed. Yeah, like I can say what I want about the Easter eggs, but I still think the show hasn't missed. Like it's pumping on all cylinders, especially that end. The whole end sequence is awesome. Of our two heroes, Sylvie and TV Loki, trying to enchant the Alioth. And then my man Richard E. Grant's like, oh, you know what?
That was beautiful. to watch him conjure up Asgard, and then to watch
Mm-hmm.
that was just actually really beautiful to watch. It's very, very nice. And again, like I said, I think this episode is about how strong Loki is because he says it. You know, he goes. I just realized how. I mean, we're pretty strong. You know, and he
Mm-hmm.
talks about it. And so there's a lot of interesting things that happen. It's very exciting.
I loved the end and how I know folks weren't too keen on the whole episode as a whole. I thought it worked overall. May not be the strongest, but it worked nonetheless. And the endings where it really got me. Like I gave way more of a shit about Richard E. Grant's Loki than I probably should have, especially for a character that popped up in the fifth of six episodes. And he's, conjuring up Asgard and the CGI looked great. And the second I realized it was Asgard, I'm like, oh my God, like that's incredible. Especially with the story he told earlier in the episode that you were alluding to not too long ago, where he's like, yo, I put the projection on the Mad Titan. I went to a desert planet to live out the rest of my life, but I missed my brother. And I wanted to see if he missed me.
Which was crazy to when he said that, you're just like, oh damn.
And that's how the TVA got him, because he wasn't supposed to do that.
Yeah. Like that was crazy to hear when he's talked about it. Like he's like, I miss my brother. And a lot of people talked about it. That hit like super hard to people. They're like, oh my, like damn.
That got me, bro. Like I'm over here like, damn, like on some real shit. He's like, yo, I miss my brother. And that's when the TVA showed up as I was going to go back to Asgard. And I'm like, yo, when are we gonna come out of we out here random as hell with these emotionalized
that story beats? Is kind of, but that story like kind of doesn't fit of what the TVA was doing. Like he tried to get off where he was from, so they came after him. Like that kind of doesn't make sense if you think about it.
In a way, yeah. Which I know that supports him or Richard E. Grant's Loki being the big bad of this show. Which would be that'd be nuts. Broadening the chat, Love and Thunder, Loki Thor reunion, can't wait. Which version of Loki? That's the thing.
I think it's gonna be Sylvie.
Woohoo! That'd be oh my God, that'd be nuts.
I personally believe it's gonna be Sylvie.
Because aren't they done shooting? Didn't they finish shooting that movie? Or at least they've been shooting it if they haven't been done shooting.
Yeah, I think they're shooting it now.
I'd be shocked if they hid Sylvie that well from like set photos and all that stuff, especially with the show and its popularity and it being as beloved as it is. And Rodney, yeah, Suge's probably right about the Richard E. Grant thing. I didn't even think of that. I spent 90 minutes talking about this damn show last night. Not once did that come up. Not once did that damn thing come up.
I mean, because I wasn't here with you. See, if I was here with you,
right? You make me think, Suge. You keep me on my toes.
I do make you think. That's what I'm good at. I make people think.
Word. But that the end, right? We see the Alioth take who we think or who we thought was classic Loki, right? We see his little helmet hit the ground. Oh, sad. He's dead, maybe?
Yeah, that's an interesting part too.
Like, is he dead? Because the helmet hit the ground. We saw it. They made sure to show us that it hit the ground, and then it did a little clunk. Like we heard that. But then Sylvie's like, "Yo, you can enchant this Alioth," and he's like, "I don't know how." Of course you know how. Like we're the same or whatever she said, and they both enchant the Alioth, and in this super. It was like the most Disney thing that they've done so far, where it's like, right. You have the power to enchant this time eating.
I was waiting for a Saturday night cartoon song to come on.
It was all cute and whimsical, you know. If I had to knock that scene, it'd be for that because it was super Disney. But quick shout out to the score. to the score for this damn show. Like when the entire end sequence and right before Loki and Sylvie started to toy around with the Alioth, when the theme kicked in, the Loki theme, like that is damn hard. The Loki theme is really damn hard, and it's the score for the show is so damn well done. I love it a ton. But they enchant this beast, and it opens up a little pocket, and then bang! What the hell is that? What the hell is this medieval times looking thing?
A lot of people go, "Oh, it's Doctor Doom. It's Latveria,
Latveria."
Latveria," and I'm like, dude, if that's fucking Latveria, like, and we're going Doctor Doom, like, my nipples just got hard.
If that'd be one hell of a way to introduce Doctor Doom. Lord Jesus,
right?
He's been toying with time this whole 13 years.
Like, we all think it's Kane, but it's Doctor Doom. Like,
that'd be crazy as hell.
Suck my freaking butthole. That's where we're going.
Yo, I don't buy that for a minute. I don't think we'll see Doctor Doom until Fantastic Four. Even then, but yo, Kang has been tied to the Fantastic Four, so I guess we're not too far from that. But what the hell is that castle, right? And I know Chronopolis has been thrown around like a mofo the last 48 hours or 40 some hours. Never the show dropped.
Yeah, some of the stuff I was looking up today. Some people say it's this house. I forgot the name of it, but it's just a house where everything begins and ends. And there's two beings that live there called Future and Present, I believe it was.
Word.
With their names. So, yeah, very interesting.
Yeah,
very interesting.
Brandon Buckingham in the chat. What's up, Brandon? It's not Doctor Doom. LOL. Why they introduce him? Yeah, it's Brandon Buckingham.
Why did you just throw his name out there?
Yeah, that'd be. I don't buy it. If I had to put money on who that thing is, who the person is at the end, I think Loki is probably the best bet. Or all Loki is the best bet. But Kang may be the new Mephisto, where we're all so set on Kang, and it's not Kang at all.
That's what I'm saying. What if it isn't Kang? Like, they could mess with this in so many different ways. Like, oh yeah, you thought it was Kang? No, not Kang at all. Sorry.
I had a buddy of mine send me a TikTok earlier, and it was.
Wait, you have buddies?
I do have friends, believe it or not.
You're not allowed to have friends, Chris.
I can't have friends? What the hell?
Nope. We have talked about this.
Ah, damn.
We have said no friends for you, sir.
No, I get no friends. None. Zero. Nope. So
you got a friend in me. Because you got a friend in me.
Oh, that's cute. That was a great way to spin it. So my acquaintance earlier, he sent me a TikTok of it was essentially saying, oh, it's either Kang or another version of Loki that we'll see in this castle thing. And the more I hear about that damn Loki thing, the more I buy it. And I was the guy that was preaching the name of Mephisto in the WandaVision throughout the WandaVision episodes. I'm like, it's Mephisto, because they teased the hell out of the character without actually saying his name or
Are you saying it's my fist though, or Mephisto?
Mephisto.
I thought you were saying it's my fist though.
No, it's Mephisto. it's Mephisto, right? And I'm so nervous for the finale of this series, season, whatever the hell it is, because I'm scared it's not Kang. And us fanboys, we're over here like, but, like we've been seeing folks that look like Kang. Renslayer is directly tied to Kang the Conqueror in the comic books. But if Marvel Studios has taught us anything, we cannot pay attention to the Marvel comic books because they deviate all the time from the books. All the time. They would take something and just be like, yep, Kevin Feige will take a name of a character or a storyline and be like, you know what? I'm going to make this one movie. Oh, y'all like Age of Ultron? How about it being a movie that has nothing to do with the original comic book? Like we're so trained like that. At least I believe we're trained like that with the MCU, how we can't believe anything that they tell us. But if it's Kang, oh Lord Jesus. Because we're not going to see Kang, at least as far as we know, until Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. And that doesn't come out to 2023. We got 2 more years till we see that movie. So if they show us Kang now, we got 2 years of build-up until that. That'd be some crazy shit. Because that'll open the door to seeing him in Spider-Man No Way Home, that would be the door to seeing him in Multiverse of Madness, especially that damn movie.
Yeah, it sure would.
But there's a lot to there's a lot to think, a lot to ponder with the reveal or who that's going to be. I like what you said, though. If I had to put money on it, I think it's what you said. It being a Loki, maybe Richard E. Grant. Because I said this weeks ago. Why the hell would you cast Richard E. Grant? Of all people.
Yeah, doesn't make sense to bring him for and look at it
One
this way.
episode.
You got so emotional with him. You got like super emotional with him being involved,
Right?
Because of how great of a story he told,
right?
And so now you're like invested in him, and then it would just make sense to be like, oh no, he's a bad guy.
It makes sense because we all think he's dead, but it's like, oh, I'm just the king of projections, and that's my gimmick, and I'm really good at it, and I've been sitting here for thousands of years. I lied to you. My sympathetic Thor missing my brother's story, bullshit. I lied.
Yeah. And you find out his real Nexus event was something else.
Right. And I know there are a lot of folks who were saying that, oh, Loki is a part of the Timekeepers. Yo, the Timekeepers don't exist. I'm convinced the Timekeepers don't exist. Like, and that's a bunch of baloney. That there's like 3 heads. I find that hard to believe. And if the end of episode 4, the Nexus event, didn't show us that, where Sylvie literally cut one of the heads off of the animatronic robot things, I don't know what the hell else proves that to us. Because Renslayer, I don't think Renslayer knows everything.
I don't think so either.
I think she's putting on a front, and then she's bullshitting, but she still doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't believe she knows what's going on. I 100% agree with you. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what exactly happens from this point on.
Let me throw this at you. So,
don't throw anything at me, Chris, please. I don't.
So let me softly set something down in front of you. Okay. So I was, like you said, I was chatting with some buddies, our buddies at Flickin' Reel yesterday, and they had mentioned Renslayer's role in the show. She obviously has a big part in what is going on. It's no secret. She has a part in what's going on.
Okay.
What that role is the question. And Renslayer's been tied to Kang. That's Kang's significant other in the books or whatever. What if Renslayer, the one that we've seen, is a variant? Because everybody at the TVA is a variant. What if also Renslayer is a variant? She doesn't know. And take it a step further, Miss Minutes, who came back this episode, Miss Minutes is she's big. She has a bigger role than we're led to believe.
Makes sense. That
the real Renslayer may be dead, maybe who Miss Minutes was in a different time,
or throw this at you. So Renslayer is some whatever. She was put out of time, but she's so willing to do what they ask her to do that when she finally finds out who it really is, she's loyal to him no matter what.
Oh, yes. I don't think she'll make it out of the series, though. I think this will be the only time we'll get her. Because if it's Kang, that would be... if it's Kang, then it makes so much sense why she's in the position that she's at. But she seems like she doesn't know everything, and that's what throws me for a loop. I kind of believe her when she says, yo, I know just as much as you do. I'm trying to figure this out, but at the same time, I'm not trying to take down the TVA like you are. So I buy that. Now, when she finds out who's behind the TVA, that's the question. If it's a Loki, that would make sense why, like, I don't know, if Lokis are so damn bad, why didn't they prune them the second they got them? They kept this Loki around for a reason. Our TV Loki, they kept him around for a reason. Buck in the chat says, what if it's Queen Loki or a Queen Loki? Could be. It totally can be. And Brodney in the chat says Kang, Ren, Mobius equal timekeepers. Kang betrays the other two. I think you said that, Brodney, last time you were on, or last week when you were on for Chris's sake. And I kind of buy it. As I get the sun out of my eye, I kind of buy that. But damn it. They must have done some real mind wiping. And depending on how long episode 6 is, are we going to have time for that? Are we going to have time to explain all that? That's something that also throws me. Renslayers. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say what throws you. It's kind of hard, man. You kind of built big, man. How tall are you? 6'1", 6'2"?
How am I? I'm 6 foot.
You're a big boy. I can't throw you around like that.
Right. I mean, I hope not. That'd be impressive on your part. But we have so many questions, so few answers, and if next week is the series finale, what? Because you got to tie all this up. You got to do something with all these characters. If it's the end. I know there are rumors of a season 2. Our boy Jesse Swift was almost confirming a season 2 yesterday on Flickin' Reel, which, by the way, go subscribe to that channel. But yo, I'm not buying these shows getting second seasons. At least we'll find out next week. We'll definitely find out. If it's open-ended, we'll probably see a season 2. But I'm expecting a definitive end to the TVA in some way, shape, or form. Just by what we've gotten. I feel like this is all coming to a head, and all these characters are going to meet up at that damn castle. Wherever the hell that's at the end of time, or the beginning of time, end of time, whatever that is.
Time after time.
Right. The the Cyndi Lauper, really? Gonna bust that out on me? I know what that is. But I do know Cyndi Lauper. Yes, I do. Big part of wrestling history right there. Come on now.
That's very true.
The one thing I did want to mention, because we could speculate all damn day about this show. So before we talk about, because I want to talk about What if we can for a minute.
Oh yeah, I saw the trailer for that. That was dope.
I do want to talk about What If, because my thoughts on the show have changed entirely. But in conclusion, what did you think of Journey into Mystery? And give me some bold predictions for episode 6. Did you mute your mic?
No, I'm trying to think.
Oh damn! So you got really quiet. That was impressive.
You gotta remember, I just woke up like a couple minutes ago. I think we're not gonna see Kane. We're gonna see somebody else. It's gonna be a different Loki, but there's gonna be a tease of Kane in the end.
Okay.
That's what I personally believe.
Okay, you said no Kang. It's a Loki, or a Loki of some kind. Probably Richard E. Grant.
Probably.
And we're gonna get a tease of Kang the Conqueror.
Yes.
Oh, jeez. And what did you think of the episode overall?
Loved it.
In summation.
Loved it. Good episode. Very, very good. It was amazing. I can't give it enough praise. So I rock with it.
Journey into Mystery is, I mean, that in itself is an Easter egg. The Easter eggs are a little too much for me in hindsight, especially after talking about them for so damn long. They kind of take away from the episode in some weird way that unlike anything I've seen out of Marvel before. But again, Sylvie and Loki are the shit. Let's do something with Mobius. I want to see him tear apart the TVA from the bottom up. I think that'd be great. And I want to see that damn alligator. You
know what's a trip though about that? I didn't even think about it. What that alligator, if it's a Loki, it's able to turn into something. Why hasn't it?
And I know Astro mentioned that earlier. They missed the opportunity to have the alligator speak. I second that notion that they could have had like a surprise guest voice the alligator. That I mean, how much weirder can Marvel get than a talking alligator? We have talking raccoons in this. We have a tree that says 3 words or 4 words and 4 words only. So I'm pretty sure we can, or no, 5. Either way, we have a talking tree in this damn universe. I'm pretty sure we can have a talking alligator. And yes, I thought that it was a Loki that just shape-shifted into an alligator and chose to stay that way, but I guess it wasn't. And apparently, its Nexus event was eating the wrong cat or something. Unless it was a joke, whatever.
Which
but
is kind of hilarious.
I do love that. But I love that damn alligator. I love it so much. Bold prediction for the show for episode 6. Ah, damn it. I think TV Loki will not make it out of this series.
I said that since the beginning.
And I'm doubling down on that. I think this is the last time we see Tom Hiddleston play this character.
How does he die?
Saving Sylvie. And Sylvie will be the Loki going forward.
I totally agree with that. I think that's
if we have a Loki going forward, it'll be Sylvie.
We will. I think in Love and Thunder, you're going to see Sylvie show up because it makes a lot of sense. Because she'll show up in Love and Thunder and be close to Thor simply because she never got to experience that with Thor herself in her timeline.
Or better yet, they do the Jane Foster Thor and they have do a little team up ski, like some lady Loki, lady Thor. I can rock with that. But I think next week will be the last time we see Tom Hiddleston play this character, and no one's prepared to see him die for real this time. I don't think we're ready for that.
Are we gonna stay up and live react to it?
Oh snap! You want to stay up and watch it? We can.
I really shouldn't because I got to be at work at 5 a.m. But
I shouldn't either because I got to be at work at 6.
Well, you know what? We're crazy mofos.
We can. Damn. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea. Yeah, because it's gonna get spoiled for us by the time we get to watch it. We'll talk about that. We'll shelve this conversation. We'll talk about that later. Let's talk about What If. Because we got the What If trailer today. Out of nowhere, unannounced. We got a poster and a trailer. Initial thoughts off the bat. What did you think of the trailer?
Loved it. It's a good trailer. Kind of dope to see the different things of what could happen. So that was super dope to watch. Very excited to see where this series goes. As far as where it can take it. I think from what I saw from the trailer, I think this is a glimpse by Doctor Strange on what possibly could happen in the future. Like what could have happened.
Okay, we did see Doctor Strange in the trailer. We saw, we did. We saw Stephen Strange.
We did see Stephen Strange.
Because what we do know about this show is that it's from the perspective of the Watcher. The Watcher is going to narrate us throughout this series, and that every episode, as far as we know, will stand alone in itself. It'll be, oh, what if T'Challa's picked up by the Ravagers? What if Peggy Carter was Captain America or Captain Britain or Captain Carter, as she referred to herself in the trailer? Apparently, we're seeing some Marvel zombies. We're seeing Killmonger interact with Tony Stark from 2008 before he became Iron Man. We saw Spider-Man with the cloak of levitation in the trailer as well. We saw Peter Parker. So there's some... What If, to me, felt inconsequential to Marvel, because everything in the MCU, with the exception of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Carter, at least is what it sounds like now, and the Marvel stuff, everything else has meant something, whether at the time or retroactively. Because I mentioned this on the other show, and I'll mention it here. Every Marvel movie has something to take away from it. I was asked a few days ago, are there any Marvel movies I can just skip that are inconsequential to the rest of the universe? I said no. There's not a movie you could skip. You have to watch everything. And that's the downside of shows like Loki. That's the downside of shows like WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier. You can't just jump in. You can. You can do whatever you want. Should you jump in blind? No. Because all WandaVision does is tell you they piggyback off of what Wanda's been going through the last God knows how many years. They rely on you watching Infinity War, Age of Ultron, Civil War. Falcon Winter Soldier piggybacks off the Captain America movies to the point where they bring back old characters. And then in Loki, they somehow, some way, like they're making me give a shit about, or that in Endgame making me give a shit about Thor: The Dark World, a movie I've seen once, and I thought once was enough. No offense to who made it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But Endgame took us back to Thor: The Dark World. Loki's making me give a shit about the little stuff in Thor I never really gave a shit about. What if is just a bunch of presumably one-off stories just for shits and giggles? Oh, what if T'Challa was a Ravager?
And giggles.
Right. What if T'Challa was a Ravager? What if Spider-Man had the cloak of levitation? I still don't know what that means. But my tune has changed because part of me thinks the watcher is gonna just like your big thing is throwaway lines, things that they just say, nonchalantly, that mean something, and the watcher is gonna be the one I keep my eyes and ears on throughout that whole series.
I'm a girl watcher. Sorry,
you're fine. But
when you said that, it made me laugh.
What? That you're fine? That you're good?
You're the watcher, and I'm like, I'm a girl watcher.
No, but like the watchers, I'm assuming the watcher is at least canon with the rest of the universe.
Yeah, well, it is canon because he's in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
We see the watchers, right? But
are we going to see a Stan Lee cameo?
That's a great question. If they had Stan record something, or if they used archive, or not footage, but audio. This will be Chadwick Boseman's last time playing T'Challa, because he voiced the character for the show, like a lot of other folks in the MCU did. We heard Chris Hemsworth. We heard Benedict Cumberbatch as Stephen Strange. The one thing that threw me off was that was Tony Stark, but it wasn't Robert Downey Jr. I noticed that almost immediately. I'm like, that's not Robert Downey Jr. That's not him. They tried, they thought, but hearing T'Challa or hearing Chadwick Boseman one more time, that episode's going to be awfully emotional. That's the last time we'll see him in this universe or hear him in this universe in any way, shape, or form.
That's crazy to think.
Yeah, especially with all the news of Black Panther 2 coming out, how they're Angela Bassett said they've had 5 different scripts with another one coming for this movie. And I don't know
because they're trying to make it so it's going to make sense and it's not going to shit on his legacy and things like that, which I'm glad they're doing.
They're going to pay homage to Chadwick Boseman and to T'Challa, and I'm so fascinated at how they're going to do a Black Panther movie without having Black Panther in it. And by Black Panther, I mean T'Challa, and how they write the character off. Because I think it was no secret T'Challa was supposed to be a big player going forward. Like, he was going to be part of the new Avengers squad, presumably. But things happen, life happens, and that's not what we're going to get. And I wonder how they're going to go about that. And we won't know until trailers start popping out, more info starts coming out about the movie. But what if it's going to be the last time we hear Chadwick Boseman? And that's going to be one hard-ass pill to swallow. Now, I want to throw this question at you. Do you think that they're going to piggyback off of the multiverse thing and act like these are different timelines? Like they'll tie it back into the whole multiverse?
Possibly.
because this is how you can introduce some more obscure, or this is how you can introduce characters that we haven't seen in the MCU yet. We can have name drops for characters. Imagine we hear like a Reed Richards name drop.
Well, Kane is Reed Richards' son, Nathaniel.
Yeah, like distant relative. Yeah. So it's possible, because I feel like you can't do King the Conqueror without at least, Reed Richards. At least if you're going to make it comic book accurate. And we do have the confirmation that we're getting the Fantastic Four. So I'm not too worried about that. But the big question is, are there going to be any takeaways from this series? And we won't know until the show comes out. I think August 11th, I think is when it comes out. But if there's any takeaways, like, how's that going to shake up the universe as we see it now? Because thank God, after Loki's done, we take a break from the magical timey-wimey multiverse stuff for a little bit, because we have Black Widow that's coming out today. We have Shang-Chi, excuse me, and the Ten Rings. And Eternals may touch on it, maybe. But Spider-Man's when it gets crazy towards the end of the year with the multiverse, presumably. So is What If going to at least channel that? Or maybe just give us a little bit of a hint, a tease? Who the hell knows? But
who the hell knows, Chris?
Who the hell knows? Lord knows we don't. I don't know shit. I've been talking out of my ass for the last hour. But this damn show, Loki, and What If, I wasn't too excited for What If. They got me. They got my attention. And now I'm looking forward to it, because that looks pretty damn cool. And it's animated. It's easy to consume, and hopefully it won't require us doing weekly reviews of this, because it means bigger ramifications for the universe. But if it does, we'll have to come back on here for Chris's sake and do it. If we have to. Who knows? But Suge, any final thoughts before we wrap here on this Thursday evening on Loki, What If, Marvel? Anything?
Just excited for the future, and hope it all works out. And I trust Marvel to do the right thing, and I trust that they're gonna make some good shows, and we're gonna enjoy them. So, in Marvel, we trust.
Damn right. And if there's anybody I can trust with making a cohesive story, it's Kevin Feige. My man, yeah, say what you want about the Dark Worlds and the first Thor movie. Like, they made those movies relevant, and to me, they haven't missed. Marvel does not have a bad movie or a bad show under its belt, and I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, who knows what goes on, but next week's going to be awfully interesting, and maybe we'll stay up and watch it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see how. We're old men. We'll see how we.
Right. Yeah, we got to be up early as hell to be adults and be responsible. But thank you to everyone that watched this on WAT Reel Entertainment, or if you're listening to this on the audio feeds, thank you so much for listening and watching for Chris's sake. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to WAT Reel Entertainment. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Follow the podcast feed. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. It means the world to me. Suge, where can the people find you on social media?
I mean, obviously, you can find me Suge Knight 323 at TikTok and Twitter. You can find me. I'm going to be trying to stream a little bit more on Twitch, so Suge Knight 1323 when I have time. And then obviously on Mondays, I'm here with my boy Anthony Lopez and Matt Thomas talking Schmodown. We got some big news about the Schmodown Spectacular. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting next couple of months with everything going on. So yeah, catch me there. And like I said, Mondays here with Chris, and Thursdays we'll be talking Loki, one more final episode.
One more,
and then we'll see what happens from there and on.
Right. We'll see. Do we keep doing stuff like this, the geeky stuff on Thursdays? Who knows? We'll figure that out when we get there. But for me, you can catch me on the channel all the time. Obviously on Thursdays, we got one more Loki review for next week. Tomorrow, Wrestle Reel, 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. You can catch me on Spin from the Reel every Monday, a Schmodown reaction show. You can catch myself, Suge, and Matt Thomas talking about the latest and greatest in the movie trivia Schmodown. And Suge did say we got some fun news about Spectacular today. And Suge and I may be in the same room by the end of the year for the first time ever. And we're over the moon about it. But we'll talk more about that on Monday on Spin from the Reel. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, right? For Spin from the Reel? Did I get my time zones right? Yeah. Okay, great. You can follow me on Twitter at @CAnthonyLopez. My social medias are in the description. Suge's social media is also in the description of this podcast or this video. So go ahead and follow us everywhere. And of course, Suge and I are avid TikTok people. We love that damn clock app, and you can find us on there at SugeKnight323, and for me at the letter C, Anthony Lopez. We upload from time to time. It's fun. Fun fact from my Schmodown folks out there: Angel De Milanta followed me on TikTok today, and I was so honored. And my man's been liking my videos, and it's so weird. It's so weird getting Angel De Milanta's thing popping up on my phone. I'm like, yo, like, great guy. We had him on Spin from the Reel not too long ago. And he was a great interview, great dude to talk to. And the Star Wars champ, I felt honored. So Angel De Milanta, if this gets back to you somehow, thanks, brother. Really appreciate it. But for Suge Knight 323,
you definitely should feel honored. That's the champ.
That is the champ.
And he's going to beat Laura Kelly
at Collision later this month. You already know, baby. After that, we'll have the conversation when we get there. But for Suge Knight 323, my name is Chris Anthony Lopez. And for Chris's sake, be good people. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one, y'all. Peace, baby. Peace.